It is another beautiful weekend. I was at sports highlighting myself, Emmy, Akura. Without wasting much of your time, let's take a look at the soccer results of the matches that took place over the weekend. Liverpool continues with their impressive start to the season. A 2-1 defeat against their neighbours Everton ensured that Liverpool maintained their 100% start to the season, winning 5 games in 5, having 15 points and staying on top of the league. The reigning champions are looking like a team that want to maintain and also retain their trophy that they won last season. Arsenal were held at home by Manchester City in a 1-1 draw. Chelsea lost away to a struggling Manchester United side, and Spurs were held away 2-2 at Brighton. All right, let's look at the first match that took place in the English Premier League on Saturday. And that was a match between the reigning champions and Everton. It was indeed a very interesting match between these two teams. Remember, it is a derby, Liverpool and Everton, so it's always an intense match where everybody will want to prove themselves. But Liverpool is always on top of this one as the most successful team in that city. So Liverpool took the lead through that guy, Gravenberch. Gravenberch was scored in the 10th minutes of the game. It was actually a very interesting goal, and he tipped that goal, beating the Everton goalkeeper Pickford to make it a 1-0. A second goal for Liverpool ensured that they became victorious, despite the fact that Everton pulled a goal back through Gabe. That wasn't enough for Everton to get something positive out of this game, as Liverpool proved to be too strong for Everton, and it was an impressive performance from Liverpool's side. This shows that they have the zeal, they have what it takes to become champions once again. So the game winning is not by luck, it is by hard work and how good the entire team is. In the second match on Saturday was a match between Brighton and Spurs. Brighton took a 2-goal lead, but that wasn't enough for them to win the game, as Spurs fought back through Richarlison, who scored a goal assisted by Kudus. Kudus gave 2 assists to make sure that Spurs came back and draw that game, and they drew 2-2. Spurs maintained their 3rd position on the table with 10 points, while Brighton are in the 14th position with 5 points. In another match in the English Premier League, one team that is impressing me the most this season is Crystal Palace. Despite the fact that they lost their talisman Eze to Arsenal, Crystal Palace are looking like a team that don't want to lose any game this season. It looks like they want to be accumulating as many points as possible in order for them to secure their place in the English Premier League come next season. They traveled away to West Ham, and West Ham took the lead through Bowen, but it wasn't enough, as Mateta and Mitchell made sure that Crystal Palace got 3 points against West Ham to maintain their impressive start to the season. Crystal Palace won 2 trophies last season, and it seems that they are building from there to make sure that they also continue with their fine form. In another match in the English Premier League was a match between Fulham against Brentford. Fulham won that game 3-1. Iwobi scored a goal and assisted Wilson to score the second, as a Pinnock own goal ensured that Fulham carried the day, and they won and got 3 points against Brentford side. Alright, moving to another game that took place in the English Premier League that we're going to be talking about was a match between Manchester United against Chelsea. A struggling Manchester United side at Old Trafford ensured that they got 3 points against Chelsea. They lost in the Champions League against Bayern Munich with 3-1. Coming into this game, a lot of people would have expected them to get something positive out of this game to make sure that they make up for the bad result that they got away in the Champions League. However, a costly mistake from Chelsea's keeper Sanchez gave Manchester United a man advantage. And the coach of Chelsea came out to say that, as a player, I would have preferred we go down in the 50 minutes than getting a red card. And Sanchez knows this. That is what the coach of Chelsea, Enzo Maresca, said. And I completely agree with him. If you are a professional footballer and you are going into a game, starting a game in the 50 minutes and you are getting a red card, that is actually not professional. That is not experience. That is just a very reckless way of playing. If you consider going the 50-minute, chances are that you will equalize and possibly win the game. But if you get a red card, you are putting your players at risk, and you are destroying the entire system and the game plan of the coach and the entire team. One will argue though that Manchester United also got a red card and it was 10 against 10. However, the damage was done. The morale of the players, they changed tactics. The players that were substituted because of his red card was as a result, of the reason why Chelsea went down against Manchester United. So he, in a way, caused them that game. He made sure that Chelsea did not win that game. And I'm happy that he took full responsibility for that red card and that game. As a player, understand in the first half, no matter what, try to play clean and make sure. I know mistakes do happen in soccer, but if you concede a goal in the 50 minutes of the game, like I said, you are going to be able to come back and, if not to win the game, at least get something, a point out of the game. But to get in a red card in the 50 minutes as a professional goalkeeper who has won the World Cup, World Club Cup, who has won the UEFA Conference League Cup, you should be able to know better. At least the experience that you have now should be able to guide you to the making some mistakes that are considered to be reckless that you shouldn't make as a professional player. Anyway, kudos to Manchester United. They got 3 points against Chelsea, which is a positive result. Hopefully, they're going to be able to build from that result. Fernandes said that some players are finding it difficult playing for Manchester United, and you agree with him because it's very, very difficult playing for United side that is known for winning trophies, a big club, one of the biggest teams in the world of football. So going into any match, it will be difficult. You're carrying a responsibility not just of yourself and the team, but of the entire fans around the world who are expecting a lot from you. These fans are expecting you to get positive results. They're expecting you to take them back to the glory days of them winning trophies and winning week in, week out. But once you're not doing that, then the pressure becomes huge on you as a player. So I completely agree with Fernandes for saying that. In another match in the English Premier League, which is going to be the last match that we're going to be talking about in the English Premier League, was a match between Arsenal and Manchester City. Arsenal were at home at Emirates against Manchester City, and I've said before this game that Arsenal are looking like a team that want to fight for this league, and they are complete in my view. These are just my views. I don't know about you, but I feel like Arsenal are doing very well at the moment, and they're dangerous. This is a match that at the Arsenal before that we know that we capitulate in every game, and now improving to be a team that can actually get something positive out of a game that they are going to lose. Arsenal before, like I said, we're not going to be able to come back. We're going to lose that game to Manchester City. But this Arsenal, we are determined to make sure that they get something positive at home. And trust me, Martinelli in the 90th minute, late equalizer, ensured that Arsenal got a point against Manchester City and maintained their second position on the table next to Liverpool. They are now on 10 points in 5 games, while Liverpool ahead of them with 5 points, winning all their 5 matches. So you can see these Arsenal side that by the time they gel together, by the time they start understanding, how each player is operating and play to their capacity, trust me, Arsenal is going to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to this Premier League and deciding who wins it, if not them winning it, because I'm impressed with the way they're playing at the moment. Their fighting spirit is something that I'm happy with. So there was no negative performance from the Arsenal side. From the beginning of the game to the end, you're playing against a big team like Manchester City. Despite the fact that Manchester City are not doing very well in recent times, they are still a big team with the best coach in the world. So if you're playing against them, chances are that you're going to struggle. You will have to suffer here and there, but you have to endure and know for a fact that you will have to maintain that at that momentum. And Arsenal did exactly that. They played very well. They were not giving up, making sure that at the end of the day, they will get something out of this game. And that is exactly what they did in that game. So I'm so happy for the Arsenal players and the way in which they're playing. I tell you this, if not Man City and the Liverpool, I doubt if there's any team in Premier League that is going to be able to keep up with this Arsenal side, because the guys are good. They're young, and also mixed with some of the experienced players. So I see Arsenal doing something this season, something special this season. I see them winning a trophy. If they don't win the Premier League, they don't win the Champions League, FA Cup is there, and Carling Cup is there for them. So hopefully Arsenal is going to be able to break that curse and start winning for their fans and for the club. But kudos to them for making sure that they did not lose at home to Manchester City and they got something positive out of that game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, after this short break, I'll be taking you around Europe to see some of the results that took place over the weekend. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at some of the results that took place in European football over the weekend. In the first game in France, Monaco defeated Metz 5-2. Ansu Fati scoring 2 goals to ensure that his team won that game 5-2. Taking you to Spain, Real Madrid goes from Eder Militao and Mbappe ensured that Real Madrid perfect start to the season continue. They now won 5 games, getting 15 points. This is good for Real Madrid. Understanding that Barcelona are behind them on the 13 points, Madrid must make sure they continue with their fine form. Winning every game and getting 3 points will make sure at the end of the season they win the trophy, if that is how they maintain their form. Although it is still too early to determine who's going to be the winner of that league. But in Spain, when somebody is on top of the league, chances of them dropping are very slim. So kudos to Real Madrid for winning against Espanyol. Espanyol is a very difficult side for Madrid, but Madrid won that game 2-0 to maintain their perfect start to this season. Barcelona played against Getafe, and the 2 goals from Torres made sure that Barcelona also maintained the pressure on Real Madrid. Barcelona are now sitting in the second position with 13 points. Moving straight to Italy, this is where a lot of surprises and a lot of good outcomes for the teams in Italy, especially that guy Fabregas. Fabregas is doing wonders in Italy. He's a Como side that traveled to Fiorentina, and believe me when I say that this guy is the next best coach in the world. Fabregas Como won against Fiorentina 2-1 away. This guy last season brought these people to the Italian league, and they retained their position in the Italian league, and this season again it seems they want to stay, if possible, get something good out of this league. And I'm loving it because they are playing against some of the best teams in the world and they're getting positive results. So kudos to Fabregas and his entire team for making sure that they are getting positive results when it comes to Italian football. In another match that took place in Italy was a match between Udinese and AC Milan. AC Milan traveled to Udinese, and 2 goals from Pulisic ensure that AC Milan won away against Udinese 3-0. A good result for Modric's side. In another match that took place in Italy was a match between Inter Milan against Sassuolo. Inter Milan won that game 2-1. The competition is heating up, man. I'm loving Italian football this season as every team is making sure, especially Inter Milan, Juventus, AC Milan, Napoli, the reigning champions. Everybody is I can't wait to see who's going to win it at the end of the day, because the competition is actually getting more interesting every week. So I'm loving the result that I'm seeing coming out of Italy. Fabregas is making sure that he's being counted among some of the best coaches in Italian league, and who knows, he might just win Italian league coach offer this season. It is too early. That is just on me making jokes, but he's doing well, so you never know. Inter Milan won 2-1. In another interesting match that took place in Italy was a match between Torino and Atalanta. Atalanta traveled to Torino. Atalanta, I spoke about them here, about the controversy that surrounded them, especially in the transfer window between the Atalanta management and Lookman, African Footballer of the Year. That has now been resolved. Lookman is now back to playing again. I'm so excited. I was so happy when I saw the news. The coach came out to say that they have resolved their differences and Lookman is now back to playing again. So he was on the bench in that match. He came in late, but he was on the bench in that match, and that alone, I'm sure a lot of Nigerian fans are excited seeing one of their best players come back to playing again. He wanted to leave, Atalanta don't want him to leave. That is how much they appreciate his services. Hopefully, in future, he will get a good opportunity, and the team will also understand that he is seeking a different challenge, and they'll be able to allow him to live and enjoy his football. So it was good seeing Lookman back on the bench and also getting some few minutes in that game. Kudos to Atalanta and also Lookman for being a big guy and stepping up to take responsibility for some of the things that happened. And for the team also, I don't know what transpired behind how the team handled it, but at the end of the day, seeing him back, it is just something that I am so happy about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving straight to Holland, where some of the biggest teams in Holland played over the weekend. The first one was the reigning champions PSV. They played against Ajax. This was a game that a lot of us were looking forward to, because in Holland, it is a big game when you have two of the giants playing against each other. And that game ended in 2-2. PSV are in good form. Ajax are also in good form. So it was a good result for both teams. In another match that took place in Holland was a match between AZ Alkmaar. Alkmaar played against Feyenoord. Feyenoord on top of the league playing. They were losing, but Feyenoord, that is what, if you want to win, in the midst of big teams like Ajax and PSV, you must make sure that you're getting positive result home and away. And that is what Feyenoord did. They traveled away to AZ and they got a draw. A point away is not a bad result for a big team like that, and they drew that game. Ladies and gentlemen, after this short break, I'll be giving you some of the results in the CAF Champions League that took place over the weekend. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's go straight into some of the actions that took place on the African continent, where teams came together to participate and compete for the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup. So here are some of the results for you that took place in the African soccer over the weekend. In the first match that I'm going to be giving you the scores was a match between Ethiopia Insurance against Mlandeji of Zanzibar. Ethiopian Insurance won that game 2-0. In another match in the CAF Champions League was a match between Leone of Lesotho. They played against Orlando Pirates of South Africa. Pirates, of course, won that game 3-0. In another match, Mogadishu City played against Police FC of Kenya. Police FC of Kenya won that game 3-1. Power Dynamos of Zambia played against ASEC Mimosas of Ivory Coast, and the Power Dynamos won that game 1-0. Now let's look at some of the results that took place in the CAF Confederation Cup. And here are the results. Emerick of South Sudan played against Azam of Tanzania, and Azam won that game away 2-1. Flambeau du Centre of Burundi won 2-1 against Agda of Libya. Madani of Sudan played against Etoile du Sahel of Tunisia, and Madani won that game 1-0. Young Africans of Namibia played against the Royal Leopards of Eswatini. Eswatini Leopards won that game 2-0 away. Cabos Cup of Angola won 1-0 against Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa. Banta of Sierra Leone played against Hafia of Guinea, and Hafia of Guinea won that game 3-0. And the final match in this segment was a match between Rayon Sport of Rwanda, who played against the Black Stars of Tanzania, and they won that game 1-0 away. So these are all the results of the matches that we have for you on the African continent in the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup. I'll be bringing you much more results of the games that are going to be taking place during the week and over the weekend. I'll be bringing it to you on Monday, and I don't want you to miss anything. So stay tuned to RTM. Until I come your way again, stay blessed.